Amen. And Matthew chapter 15, starting at verse number 16, and it reads, "And Jesus said, Are ye also yet without understanding? Do not ye yet understand that whatsoever entereth in at the mouth goeth into the belly, and is cast out into the draw? But those things which proceed out of the mouth come from the heart, and they defile the man. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, and blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands defileth not a man." And we want to use for a thought this morning, it's a matter of the heart.
All right.
It's a matter of the heart. It is no secret that we were initially created to be pure at heart. Adam and Eve at one point represented everything that is right within us. The connection they had with God was unhindered and without boundaries. However, all it took was one wrong decision that not only changed the relationship, but also changed the state of man. You have to understand that when God created us, he created us to be in a peaceful place. He created us not to be having Facebook beefs and Twitter beefs and Instagram beefs. He created us not to be at odds with one another. He created us to be peaceful human beings in a peaceful state of mind, living in a peaceful society. That was the original plan that he had for us. But all it took was for one wrong decision to not only change our standing with God, but to change our state of mind and state of being with each other. Because the moment that they ate of the fruit of the knowledge of the tree of good and evil, that is the moment that you begin to see how quickly people can turn on each other. That is why you can look around and you can have a bunch of friends one day and find yourself all alone the next day. Because all it takes is one bad decision to make the whole world turn against you. You can do a whole lifetime of good, but one wrong decision can ruin a lifetime of work based off of where you are and people's perception of what you've done. That's why you see in the news media today that a man by the name of Bill Cosby, with all of the philanthropic work he's done, with all of the kids he's put through college, one wrong decision can take a lifetime of work.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So here Adam and Eve are in the Garden of Eden. And they're living this peaceful life with one another. And they eat of this fruit, and all of a sudden, what was once peaceful became a place of blame.
Wow.
Because when God stepped on the scene to find out what exactly happened, what you find is Adam instantly blames the woman and said, "Dude, the woman you gave me is the reason why we messed up." And so this biblical story gives reason to pause and evaluate the frailties and the weaknesses of man. It shows us how the innocence of a person can be corrupted through the manipulation of intentions. Because when you look at the story, what you find is their intentions were good. Their intentions were not to ever touch the tree. But then there came this subtle serpent that decided he was going to manipulate what God had told them, which caused them to eat of the tree that they were not supposed to touch. And all I'm saying to you is we have to watch who we are around sometimes, because the things that they can put in us so subtly, the things that they can introduce to us on a very subtle level, it can change our entire course of life. That's why you find that people who are always hanging around with specific crowds find themselves hooked on drugs, because all it is a subtle invitation to do something that you would not normally do that can send your life into a place of turmoil.
All right.
You don't believe me? Let me see if I can help you out. When I was in college, I was hanging out in my room, in my apartment, and I'm chilling. I'm playing Madden 2004. That's all I did in college was play Madden. And I was all of a sudden prompted with a phone call to come downstairs to help somebody feel more secure. And documentaries to know that most people who end up in jail are addicted to some kind of drug. And I don't know about you, but I'm not built for the prison system. I learned it at an early age, and I never wanted to walk that road. But all I'm trying to tell you is this: you have to watch the crowd you hang with because they can introduce something into your life that'll send you to a place you never want to be.
Yes. All right.
Yes.
Amen.
Because our innocence can be corrupted through the manipulation of intention.
All right.
My intentions were to come down and help. But if I was easily manipulated, I would have been manipulated into doing something that was completely against my moral code.
All right.
See, it's the small, subtle events in life that challenge our ethical and moral principles. If we ever take the time to reflect on our past, we'll be able to find the moments in our lives where our innocence slowly became corrupt. It started out with hanging around certain cousins and them introducing you to certain things. And it worked that way for me. If those of you who know me, you know I'm very transparent. I never had intentions on smoking weed. But when I got around the wrong crowd, I found myself high all the time. And so it caused me to believe, and it caused me to see within myself that if I continue to hang around a certain group of people, my good intentions could be manipulated into something wrong. And the one thing I don't want to do is be wrong within myself. Because if you ever have goals in life, the one thing you should not want to do is damage what your future could be.
All right.
It's those small, subtle events in life that can really challenge the very core of who you are. It'll put you in a position where you're faced with the decision, do I or don't I? Will I or won't I? Will I partake in what you're doing, or will I walk away from the things you're trying to get me in? And so if we take the time to reflect, we can slowly see those moments where we begin to lose a little bit more of our innocence. We began to become a little bit more corrupt in our thinking. And we began to live a way that we did not, or we were not intended to live. We began to do things that we were not intended to do. That is why some people end up on Snapped, because people are doing stuff in your life that causes you to go off your rocker, and all of a sudden what you never thought you would do, you all of a sudden become capable of doing.
All right.
And with every experience, we either gain or lose more of our morals. The influence of inexperienced individuals will help degrade our decision making, while relatives remain relentless in their ability to apply pressure and to us compromising ourselves of who we are. It is our surroundings in many ways that leads us to abandoning our true nature. So our true nature is to do good, but there are certain surroundings that will cause you to operate outside of who you really are. And so we often refer to these things as survival mechanisms or survival instincts. It means that when you are put in a place in your life where you feel desperate and you feel like you have no other choice, we kick into what's called survival instincts. And survival instincts means I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure I'm good in the end. No matter what I got to do to you, I'm going to make sure that I'm good in the end. Survival instincts oftentimes is operated or rooted in selfishness. I can care less about what happens to you as long as at the end of the day I got what I need. That's why you can have robbers who don't care about your kids, they don't care about your job, they don't care about you, as long as they can get what you have. You have certain friends that don't care about you at all they want is what you got. And as long as you got what I want, we can be friends. But the moment I get everything away from you, that is the moment I no longer want to be around you. If you ever want to test who your real friends are, just put some money in your pocket and then spend it all. And you'll see who's left after the math. When everything has been subtracted, when all your money is gone, when you have nothing else to offer them, at the end of the day, the people who are standing with you are the people who don't care what you have. They want you to have more, not for their selfishness, but because they want you to be blessed.
All right. Amen.
We have this thing called a survival mechanism. situation, we turn to immoral actions to make sure we can be good at the end of the day. And so given the possibilities, it is possible to experience or hear things externally without them affecting you internally. In other words, people can say stuff to you and it won't affect you on the inside. When certain people say certain things to you, it don't bother you. It don't break your heart. It don't make you upset. It don't make you mad because you've already lived enough in life to understand that people are going to say what they're going to say, but I don't have to listen to what they say. That's why when people tell you you're not going to be anything in life, you don't have to worry about what they're saying because in essence what they're trying to tell you is that you're already somebody. I just don't like who you are, and so I'd rather tear you down because I want to be you because I don't have anything else going on.
All right.
But they also miss one key component. They miss the fact that we were born with a natural filtration system. What does that mean, Pastor? It means that when we examine the text, we find that the scribes and the Pharisees are questioning Jesus yet again. They are questioning why his disciples are transgressing the traditions of the elders, and they're creating an uproar because the disciples did not wash their hands before they ate. And some of us, we just have good manners, and we know when you go to the bathroom, you wash your hands before you eat. That's not a big thing. That's not a big doctrine. That's not a whole thing to get upset about. But here are the scribes and the Pharisees getting mad because the disciples are eating PB&Js and they ain't washed their hands yet. They're all upset and indignant. They're all offended. They mad and all upset because somebody else is eating without washing their hands. If I'm not touching your food, so what? If I'm not bothering your plate, so what? If I'm not infecting your stuff, so what? If I want to eat my chicken with my hands dirty, I can eat my chicken with my hands dirty. Why are you mad? Right. There are some things in life that we got to ask people, what you mad about? I ain't did nothing to you. And you mad. So here these men are, they're upset because the disciples are eating food without washing their hands and judging the actions of others while making excuses for justifying why kids are able to disrespect their parents. So when you look in the text, what you will find is these same men are upset because the disciples are not washing their hands before they eat, but they're the same ones who are giving credence and allowing children to be disrespectful to their parents and then pushing it off as though God has blessed the parents. No. You get smart with me, I guarantee you, you will get jack slapped in a minute. You want to get fly with me, I guarantee you, you won't do it tomorrow because you're going to experience something that you were not expecting. Right. Amen. But here these men are like telling the kids that, hey, it's okay to be disrespectful to your parents.
No.
But you're going to get mad because somebody else ain't washed their hands because they ate.
No.
How hypocritical are people
I'm slapping here.
to get mad at you and they're committing the same sin?
All right.
How you going to judge me when you doing the same thing? How you going to come at me when you doing the same thing? And so Jesus calls out their hypocrisy in verse 7 by quoting the prophet Isaiah. And he says that the people drew nigh to God with their mouth. They honored him with their lips, but their heart was far from him. So it is in this day that we have many practices and teachings that are not geared towards honoring men over God. We have too many traditions in the church today that will honor God or honor men before they honor God. And I'm not discrediting and I'm not suggesting that we stop honoring great men and women because when you do something great, you deserve to be acknowledged. However, we should never see the day where the principles of men supersede the ordinance of God. We have to become mature enough to discern and avoid vain teachings. Vain principles and doctrines will cause men to judge based on surface level infractions. In other words, all I'm saying to you is that we have to get to a point when people start teaching us foolishness that we know how to walk away from them. When people start trying to teach us stuff that is not going to benefit our lives at all, we got to learn how to walk away we have to get rid of vain principles and doctrines because people will judge us. They will judge you based off of surface level infractions. People will judge you because you cuss.
All right.
Especially church folk. Knowing that the Apostle Peter was one of the biggest cussers in the Bible. They will judge you because you had sex before marriage. Even though David was sleeping with women he wasn't married to. And yet God was still blessing men and women in spite of their infractions, not because he was endorsing it, because he understood one principle. If I can love you out of it, and I can help you love yourself, you'll change your actions. But if I'm always judging what you do, I'm helping compound your low self-esteem. I'm helping to add to your thoughts that you're never going to be more than where you are.
All right.
And so people will judge us based off of surface level stuff. The color of your skin. The way you wear your hair.
All right.
If you put on too much makeup. How you wear your clothes. People will judge you off of stuff that are not meaningful at all. And people will become offended at shortcomings that are not rooted in biblical truth. And so we see this in verse number 12. But the answer to their offenses, or the answer to them being upset, is to let God root up what he did not plant. In other words, when people try to teach you stuff that's contrary to the word of God, and you know it don't make no sense, you know it's incorrect, it's not your job to argue. You just let God deal with it. I'm not about to argue with you over silliness. I'm not about to go at you and go back and forth with you over stupidity. I'll let God deal with you at the end of the day because I don't have the time.
Right.
So we don't have to argue with folks. What God did not plant, he will uproot. Verse 14 instructs us to leave those people alone, to let them be, to not bother them, because it takes discipline to let the blind lead the blind. That's why we can't say much to teenagers nowadays, because teenagers know it all until they fall in a ditch, until something goes wrong. And it's not just teenagers, it's adults as well. There are some people in this world that you can't tell anything to because they know it all. They know every single thing there is to know about you, the world, and the universe. Yes. You can't tell them what's right from wrong. You can't tell them anything about anything in life because they have it all figured out. And Jesus tells us that we can trust and believe that when you respond contrary to the old nature, when you don't go off on people, when you don't cuss people out, when you don't slap them, but you act contrary, you act on the other side of the fence of what you used to, people will become, they'll become messed up. They won't know what to think. They become discombobulated, and they won't understand who you are as an individual. If you ever want people to question who you are, get saved.
Right.
The quickest way for people to question who you are as an individual is to start coming to church.
Saved. Yes.
And then start applying the principles of the Bible in your life.
Oh, yeah.
You'll find that people get real discombobulated when they trying to figure out how y'all used to smoke together and you don't smoke no more. People get real messed up when they find out you don't drink no more.
All right.
My friends were thrown off when I stopped cussing in the 8th grade. They're like, dude, you used to cuss all the time. What happened? I went to church. I learned that I don't have to do certain things to be cool. All I need to do is be myself, and the cool people that I get around are cool people you might not hang with.
They cool to me, though.
But they cool to me.
That's right.
So you can trust and believe that when you do things opposite of what you used to do, it will throw people off. Not realizing that your built-in filtration system is at work in your life. In other words, the things that used to contaminate my actions and contaminate my thinking, I've pushed them aside. I understand that I don't have to follow the crowd in order to be popular. I don't have to follow the crowd in order to be accepted. I don't have to do what everybody else is doing in order for my life to be meaningful. All I have to do is be me. And if I can be me, then I can live the best life that I want to live. If I can just be me and be happy with me, it really doesn't matter what you think, because at the end of the day, I don't live with you, I live with me. And if I can be happy with me, I can be happy any day of the week.
Yes, that's right.
Because trivial matters do not defile us. Just eating our food without washing our hands, that does not defile just as the body expels food as waste, in other words, just as you go and take a number two, so your spirit gives you a number two out of your mind. There are some things that comes into your mind that the spirit can help you get rid of. There are some things that you think about that God can help take out of your mind. He can help you get rid of bad habits and bad attitudes. He can flush all the nasty stuff out of your system, all of your bad actions, all of your mistakes, all of your sorrows, all of your heartache and heartbreak. He can flush it all out for the simple fact that he does not want you to be contaminated by things that hinder you from being good.
All right.
Because watch this, it is not what comes into a man that defiles him.
All right.
It's what comes out.
That's right.
It's not what you say to me. It's what I say to you in response.
All right.
Therefore, the issue is not with the external and surface level errors. The issue is with the condition of the heart. Because the heart is the seat of the emotions. It is the location of our treasure containing all the things that we hold dear. And for some of us, the heart is the source of our decision making. In other words, we always make emotional decisions that can ultimately get us in trouble. That is why Proverbs 24 and 23 says, keep thy heart with all diligence, before out of it flows the issues of life. The heart with all of its importance can be manipulated and broken. And as a result of traumatic experience, the condition of the heart can change. Immanuel Kant, who is a philosopher, he has an interesting perspective called radical evil. And what radical evil says is that he suggests that we become radically evil when we place moral law or what is right below self-interest. In other words, I will do what I know is wrong for the benefit of serving self. That's what his theory says. Long story short, stealing from you ain't bad if it's going to help me serve my selfish desire. Backstabbing you is not bad if it's going to help me get where I want to go. Though it goes against what is morally right based on the commandments of God, because only a bad heart will think it's okay to think evil thoughts. Only a bad heart will think it's okay to commit murder. Only a bad heart will condone adultery. Only a bad heart will endorse fornication. Only a bad heart will justify being able to steal on the drop of a dime. Only a bad heart thinks it's okay to lie on somebody even though you know they didn't do it.
Right.
Only a bad heart will be willing to sit there and curse God, because these are the things that defile a man. But the one thing Immanuel Kant does not address is how to change the condition of the heart.
All right.
People can teach us how to be, they can teach us how to be bad, but they can't show us how to be good.
All right. That's good.
We will find in life that more people can show us how to do stuff the wrong way than can show us how to do it right.
All right.
And so here's how you change the condition of the heart. Psalm 51 and 10, or Psalm 51:10 says, and it was King David who penned this song. He cried out and said, create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit in me. If we're going to change the condition of the heart, the first thing we must do is understand and admit when our heart is not in the right place. We have to admit to ourselves when we know our intentions are not good. That's why if you're a father of a daughter and your daughter brings home a dude, the first thing you're going to say is, what is your intentions for my daughter? Because I want to know what you got planned for her. And for those of you who are sitting in this church today, if you're not married and you're single, the one thing I'm going to ask any man that you bring my way is, what are your intentions for my member? Because I need to know that any man that comes into your life has your best interest at heart. I want to make sure that they have your heart in mind. I want to make sure that they have pure intentions for you, because you have some men that seek to prey on women who they believe are desperate.
All right. All right.
And so the first thing we have to admit is when our heart is not in the right place. Confess when our intentions are not pure. And to create suggests making something from scratch. In other words, what David was saying is, God, I need you to take the old intentions out of me and create something that is better for me. Create some new intentions. Create a new heart. Create a new love, a new passion. God, I need you to take out all of this old stuff that begin to ruin my life on a day-to-day basis and give me some principles, give me some things that will help me be a better person every single day. God, I don't want to experience the life that I've been living in when I know there's more for me. Why do I want to be broke when people are millionaires? It's because the difference between us is good decision making. When you make good decisions, good things happen. But when you make bad decisions, you can expect some bad things to happen. And when we face those consequences, that's when life becomes difficult.
All right. All right.
So it's asking God to redo the work that was previously done. Contained in the heart is the will of mankind. In other words, if there's something you really want to do, it's going to come from the heart. That's why when somebody says give it your all, what they're telling you is to put your heart into it, to love it so much that you're willing to sacrifice everything to get it and to make sure it comes to pass. And so what he's asking is, God, I need you to redo the work. I need you to change what is contained within my will. And God, I will submit my will for your will to make sure that my life is on the right track. And if we permit God to change the heart, he can then renew the spirit. Because God is looking for those who will worship him in spirit and in truth. And all it takes is repentance. Repentance is the key to altering any heart condition. If you are a constant liar, all it takes is repentance. If you are a constant cheater, all it takes is repentance. If you always fighting, all it takes is repentance. If you're always envious of people, all it takes is repentance. If you're sleeping with any and everybody, all it takes is repentance. If you always stealing, all it takes is repentance. God says, I can change your condition if you simply repent.
Yes.
It was in Psalm 51 that David petitioned God to purge him with hyssop. For those of you who don't know, hyssop was an herb that was used in ceremonial situations that consisted of removing sins, removing worries, and removing regrets that block spiritual progress. In other words, my young people, all I'm saying to you is God is hyssop that can help you remove the things that you're worried about, that can help you get over the sins that you've committed, and that can help you move past the regrets that you might have in life. There are some decisions that we make that as we get older, we regret. That's why I understand that there are going to be millions of people that by the time they hit 75 and 80, they're going to regret getting all them crazy tattoos because you ain't going to be able to read the letters on them. You ain't going to be able to tell if it was a lion, a tiger, or a bear. Oh my. You ain't going to be able to tell what they got on their body by the time they turn 80 simply for the fact that they put on them what probably shouldn't have been on them in the first place. Now, I'm not minimizing tattoos. If you want one, go get one. I remember the song Fitted Caps and Tattoos or something like that. So if you want a tattoo, that's your business. I'm just simply telling you to make sure that if you're going to get one, you get one that's meaningful. Don't get no crazy stuff. I know people who got a tattoo of the school they used to attend in elementary school. For what? You ain't been there in 32 years. You ain't donated $1 to buy a chair or a book, but you got a picture of the